What have I got going on here today? Always something. So, it is the end of February, and I'm thinking it's time to go ahead and start waking up the tropicals. I have rhizomes such as heliconias, curcumas, and caladiums that are all dormant. Heliconias don't necessarily go dormant. They have, you can put them into a dormancy period, but they are true tropicals that would prefer to grow all year. But where I live, it's just too cool in the winter. Even in my grow space, it's still very cool. So they need a little bit of heat to wake them up. This one is 48 by 20. So in theory it would hold a lot of seed trays. And I have some seed trays ready to go. Hopefully I'll have space for both on here. But for now, I'm just using this to get some warmth around the root zone. I got a heat mat thermostat right here. It has a little probe that you stick into the dirt. It says to insert it 2 inches below the soil surface. I don't know. I'll probably do it a little bit deeper than that because I'm using nice tall pots. So I've gathered up my plants. In the very back here, I have a Heliconia hirsuta, Costa Flores. And then this is the same over here. This one did better this winter. I know that doesn't look like a healthy plant, but usually they just die for me in the winter time. So this is actually an improvement. I need to come in here, clean it up as much as possible. Then I have 2 curcumas up here and a caladium that I think is a little bit too far gone because I forgot to water it. I'm going to be potting up a bunch of caladium bulbs later. I have like 25 really big tubers to plant. Yeah, that's going to take up a lot of space too, but they need the heat. Here is the thermostat. The directions say to take this probe and insert it 2 inches below the soil surface. There's a lot of variance here in the soil depth, so I think I'm going to insert it a little bit deeper than that because I don't want it to end up overheating the pots that are more shallow in order to heat the ones that are a little bit taller. Another thing I could do is I could probably pull this heliconia out, loosen its roots a little bit so that its soil level is lower. For now, I don't want to mess with anything that's not broken, and this rhizome, I can see where it's starting to wake up in here. Down there. Probably won't show through, but I don't want to mess with that. It says it's heating, so I guess we'll see how this works. I am potting up some caladium bulbs. It's almost March, so I kind of want to get these guys going. I could just plant them directly in the ground when the temperatures are good enough, probably mid-April. Late April where I live in Zone 6B in St. Louis. But I prefer to go ahead and give them a head start so that you get more growth out of them. If I start them a month early, month and a half early, then they're going to be a month and a half's worth of growth bigger. I was at Sam's Club, and they had these big bags of caladium bulbs for $14.99. 25 bucks. That's a great deal for 25 bulbs. And they're big. You can't really see in the bag, but a lot of them are quite large. I'm sure there's some teeny tiny ones in there. Usually with these bulk bags of bulbs, they're just the tiniest puny little things that are in there, and I don't normally go for it because of that. But I went and bit the bullet and said, you know what? There's a lot of stuff in here, so I'm going to give this a go. I have my heat mat set up, and this will be going on top of that until it wakes up. I have gloves here. I don't normally wear gloves because I don't mind the dirt. I have my pots here, lots of different sizes. I'm not going to be filling them all the way. I'm actually probably going to fill them about halfway because they're going on top of a heat mat, and on that heat mat, you can only expect the heat to radiate so high up. So I'm probably only going to fill them about halfway. And that'll be fine. And I will be putting more than one in each pot. I'm going to use a seed starting mix. Good drainage is the main reason. I'm not always a huge fan of Miracle-Gro potting soils, but it's really all that's available right now because none of the nurseries are open yet. They will be soon though, which I'm excited about. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this open and see how the bulbs work. Alright. Probably should have grabbed some scissors or something like that. Pull the card off and just see what it has to say. Dig a hole, place bulb in hole. Cover with soil, water thoroughly. Okay. directions are so specific. Dig a hole. If you were wondering how to do this, how to plant bulbs, just dig a hole, fill it back up, and that kind of is essentially what you're doing. Where I live, we have really clay-laden soil, so I usually amend the area and add some gypsum or something. Help loosen things up so things don't get waterlogged. So this looks like one. And you know, these don't even really need to be cleaned up very much. These are looking okay. Sometimes I'll soak a bulb for a day or so. But these are really firm. They're not scaly. This is huge. Not typically what you get inside these things. So I'm going to go ahead and unpack all these. See if there's anything that needs to be cleaned up. And the reason I'm doing this in this tray here is because I want to go through and see if any of them have growth tips on them, like this one, so that I can make sure I set them upright in here so I can just have a smooth transition between here and the pots, and I don't have to spend a ton of time trying to figure out where their growths are. So, I'll speed this up and get back to it. I feel like there's a lot more than 25 bulbs here. What do you think? I didn't actually count them, but I think I'm going to give them a quick rinse to get the peat off of them. Peat can retain water and cause rot, and if they're outside I wouldn't really worry about that. It's normally a good thing to have that water retention, which is, I mean, there's a lot of peat in the seed starting mix that I bought. But I just want to get them kind of cleaned off and have a better look at them. So I'm going to go do that. I will be right back. And we're back. Freshly rinsed. I can see which ones have growths on them much better now. Okay, so grand total 63. 63. 63. 63. That's a heck of a lot better deal than the 25. 25 for $14.99 was already a great deal. I did count the tiny little bits of root that I figure will sprout because they're thick and sturdy. Not all of them may. I would say, you know, there's probably 10 teeny tiny pieces in there. Either way, this is well over 25, so I'd say that was a jackpot, wouldn't you? Yeah, definite jackpot. Good frickin' deal. Another reason I rinsed them off wasn't just because of the peat, but because it makes it a lot easier to see the eyes on these guys, to see where their sprouts are, because they were covered so much that I couldn't see all of these bits and pieces here. So now I really have to get them potted up or spread them out someplace where they could dry, because if they stay in this type of situation, they'll rot. At least gonna get these big guys potted up right now. Let's see here. One. Alright, so now everything's all cut up and ready to go. These guys, they need the heat. Got them all cut back. We will see what happens. You know, I did this because the bag said they were assorted. And I'm going to be planting them out into a pattern, and I kind of want them to have some uniformity, so this way I can see what they look like before I plant them. And I was thinking that they ended up all being the same, but there are, looks like, a few different varieties in here, so I'm glad I did that. Lots and lots and lots of caladiums, way more than I needed. You know, they said 25. It's a great deal for 25, and there are way more than that. Alright, I'll keep everybody posted, and we'll get to see what these look like here in a few weeks when they get planted. Happy gardening, everybody. There we go. Now, it's warm enough to bring them outside. I can water them better, they can get used to the wind. This stuff dries out so fast. So yeah, hopefully these will be in the ground in a couple weeks. I am very pleased with the amount of plants that I've gotten out of that bag of bulbs, and I even think these are growing fast enough that I should probably pull them up and divide them now, and pot them up into either 2s or 3s. I don't have enough pots to go singles with all these guys, but yeah, their roots are going to get a little bit too intertwined like this, but at least I can identify them now and plant them accordingly, so it's not just a hodgepodge of ridiculous chaos, if you will. Where is she? Oh, there she is! Why are you hiding? Where are you hiding from? That's a good girl. Bye, Pumpkin.